Have you ever gotten weird looks when you say you love traveling on your own? Or when you skip the group hangout but wake up at sunrise to watch the world come alive by yourself, all by yourself? Yeah, you're not antisocial. I think you might be a wild introvert. And that's a real thing. Let's talk about why loving peace and chasing adventure aren't opposites at all. In my last video, I confessed that I didn't realize I was an introvert until my mid-50s. Before that, I just assumed introverts were shy, quiet people who stayed home and avoided crowds. That wasn't me. I loved adventure, travel, and a good dose of risk as well. I'd gone trekking in the Himalayas, moved halfway across the world, and often said yes to something new just to see what would happen. That doesn't exactly sound like the dictionary definition of introvert, does it? But here's the funny thing. I could do all those exciting things without feeling exhausted, but still feel totally drained and exhausted after even a short social event. I would come home from a party and feel like I needed 2 days alone just to recharge. Back then, I thought something was wrong with me. Why could I handle adventure and uncertainty so easily? But a few hours of small talk left me absolutely exhausted. Hi, I'm Kate. Welcome to my channel, Kate's Wandering Ideas, where I publish videos about building your best life possible. Please take a moment to like and subscribe. That really helps my channel, and I appreciate it so very much. It actually took my job as a tour director to finally figure all this out. I spent years leading groups through countries all over the world, guiding them through airports, meals, adventures, making sure everyone was happy, safe, and having the time of their lives. And I truly loved it. But every evening, when the day ended and everyone else gathered for dinner and drinks, I disappeared to my hotel room. I didn't do it because I didn't like them. My groups were always very nice and likable. But I did it because I needed to recharge. After a full day of constant interaction, I always felt completely drained and craved total silence. That quiet time alone wasn't optional. It was how I recharged enough to be cheerful and capable again the next morning. That's when I finally understood that introversion is not about being shy. It's about where you get your energy. Some people recharge by being around others. I recharge by being alone. Once I recognized that, everything started to make sense. I wasn't antisocial or weird. I was just an introvert who happened to love adventure. A wild introvert. That's what today's video is all about. The misunderstood kind of introvert that nobody talks about. The ones who love freedom, discovery, adventure, and risk, but still need plenty of alone time to feel sane. The wild introverts like me. Maybe you're one of us. The kind of person who gets energized by new experiences, but drained by social interaction. If that sounds familiar, I think you're definitely in the right place. It took me decades to realize there isn't just one type of introvert. Some of us, and I'd put myself squarely in this category, are what I like to call wild introverts. Are you one of them? You dream about seeing the world or seeing the northern lights in Iceland, hiking through bamboo forests in Asia. But the thought of group tours or small talk with strangers makes you want to crawl back into bed. crave freedom. We love new experiences, and we're curious about the world. But we still need our quiet time to recharge. We're not antisocial, We just prefer our excitement to come from exploration, not socialization. Once I understood that deep in my soul, everything clicked. It explained why I loved hiking through mountain trails, but dreaded office parties. Why leading tours across countries energized me, but only because I had quiet hotel evenings afterwards, all by myself to reset. I wasn't broken, I was just wired differently. Wild introvert. Think about that label for a moment. It sounds like a contradiction, doesn't it? Wild and introvert, two words that don't seem to belong in the same sentence. But oh, they do. Because not all introverts are quiet homebodies who never leave their rooms. Some of us love exploring, discovering, and experiencing life as long as we can do it our own way, without a crowd breathing down our necks, or a tour guide yelling, "Okay, everyone, let's stick together." I didn't realize this about myself for such a long time. For years, I thought being an introvert meant I wasn't adventurous enough, like I was somehow missing the go out and live to the fullest gene. I used to tell myself, maybe if I just push harder, I'll become more outgoing. Spoiler alert, that never worked. But what I did discover was that I had a deep love for exploring, not through parties, not through group events, but through personal adventures, quiet moments, and one-on-one experiences with the world. You see, being a wild introvert means you're not afraid of life. You're just selective about how you experience it. You love the rush of seeing something new, but you want to savor it on your own terms, slowly, thoughtfully, and preferably without a crowd of influencers taking selfies in front of you. Let's be honest, most travel guides or adventure stories make it sound like you have to be the life of the party to enjoy new experiences. They show groups laughing together at a beach bonfire or hiking in matching gear. Meanwhile, wild introverts like us are thinking, that looks exhausting. Our version of adventure might be renting a tiny cabin by a lake, hiking a quiet mountain trail at sunrise, or even taking a solo trip to another country and exploring the side streets where no tourists go. My best travel memory was when I went trekking in the Himalayas, not with a group, just with a very close travel buddy. And of course the Sherpa who carried stuff that my friend and I could never have handled on our own. The memories of that trek have fed my wild introvert soul over and over again. But here's where the confusion often happens. People assume that introverts who love adventure must secretly be extroverts in disguise. Nope, not even close. We just like our excitement with a side of solitude. Yes, we crave new experiences, but not necessarily a bunch of new people. Think about it. A wild introvert can jump on a plane tomorrow and fly halfway around the world. But the thought of attending a networking event in their own city? Nope, not happening. We'll happily explore a new culture, taste unfamiliar food, or try skydiving. Yeah, I've done that. But please don't make us do icebreaker games. The difference lies in where our energy comes from. Extroverts get their energy from social interaction. We introverts, whether wild or regular, get our energy from interior reflection. We find joy walking through a bustling market, but as an observer, not a participant. You want to see the color, the movement, the rhythm of life, but you don't want to be swept up in it. And that's not strange. It's actually a superpower. Because wild introverts have a unique ability to notice things other people miss. While others are chatting, we're observing. While they're rushing to the next big thing, we're soaking in the moment. That's why we often form deeper memories and more meaningful connections with the places we visit or the experiences we've had. But here's where things get a little bit tricky. Society tends to equate wild with social. If you're not posting selfies at parties or tagging 20 friends in your weekend plans, people think you're not living a full life. And yet I'd argue the absolute opposite. Wild introverts often live more deeply than anyone else, because when you live quietly, you notice beauty otherwise other people overlook. When you move slowly, you appreciate details that otherwise would disappear. If you're nodding along, you probably know what I mean. You've maybe been labeled quiet, antisocial, or maybe even boring, when really you're just processing life on a different frequency. You're the kind of person who'd rather have one meaningful conversation than 10 small ones. You'd rather spend a weekend painting, reading, or exploring alone than going to a crowded party. But deep down, you're still curious, alive, and hungry for experience. And that's why the term wild introvert fits so beautifully. It includes both sides, the side that craves adventure and the side that craves quiet. It means you don't have to choose between loving new experiences and protecting your peace. You can do both. The trick is finding your rhythm, the balance between connection and solitude. For some wild introverts, that means solo travel, creative hobbies, or nature adventures. For others, it means small, intentional, social circles, the kind where silence is comfortable and conversations don't feel like emotional marathons. Of course, this doesn't mean it's always easy. Sometimes people just don't understand. They'll say things like, "Well, if you're such an introvert, why do you travel so much?" As if introverts can't have wanderlust. What they don't understand is that introversion isn't about avoiding life. It's about managing energy. We go out, we explore, we connect, and then we retreat to recharge. That's the cycle that keeps us grounded and sane. Sometimes, though, we guilt ourselves for needing that retreat. We think, "Oh, everyone else seems fine going out all weekend. Why can't I be like that?" But here's the truth. Everyone has a different energy budget. Extroverts spend theirs in company. Introverts spend theirs in creativity, reflection, or solo exploration. And wild introverts, we spend hours changing meaningful experiences, but on our own terms. So if you've ever felt weird for wanting to climb a mountain alone, take a solo road trip, or spend a weekend painting instead of mingling, stop feeling weird. You're not broken, you're balanced. You just know where your energy belongs. And guess what? The world needs wild introverts. We bring depth to experiences that others might skim over. We remind people that adventure doesn't have to be loud, that discovery doesn't require a crowd, and that joy can come from quiet moments that nobody else sees. The next time someone calls you antisocial for skipping a party, tell them you're just conserving your energy for your next great adventure. Because here's the secret. The wild introvert isn't avoiding life, she's mastering it. So if you're like me, someone who loves adventure but still needs quiet to recharge, stop thinking there's something wrong with you. You're not confused, you're balanced. You've got the soul of an explorer and the heart of an introvert, and that's a pretty incredible combination. So, thanks for watching, and remember, it's perfectly okay to love the world and still need to escape from it sometimes. And please, don't forget to give me a thumbs up, subscribe, make a comment. Tell me about your introvert nature. Doing all those things really helps my channel to grow, and it does need to grow. It's a pretty new channel, and I'm hoping I can get it going really well. So thanks a lot. Bye for now. See you next time.